How do we want to handle this? And it was a matter of, like I said, I'm seeing delay. I'm just seeing that your city got attacked. So
I may be starting a new game here soon.
Yes. But it was a matter of, okay, what do we want to do? And everybody, one of the terms we were kicking around a lot during the early design process was flavor. We want people to taste the game. And so the idea was, okay, when we're putting together these world features, let's let people know, let's suck them into our fantasy world.
Okay.
And so we were just inundated with, suggestions for world features and, what they might contain. And, then we built up, based on themes, what the different guardians were going to be, as well as what the different rewards were. And it really is, you're seeing these things spread across the map that make you feel like you're in a fantasy world.
Gotcha.
And right now you're just playing on the prime material plane. There are things, each plane has unique things that you're going to find in that plane, so that it's not just a matter of, the fire plane has a, it's got more area for me to expand. Let me just go over there. You're going to be able to find ember slag there.
Right.
Which you're not going to find elsewhere, and that's a world resource that has a particular effect. You're going to one of the things I love about the Plane of Fire actually is volcanic ruins, which is where there was a Pompeii or something, and the city was destroyed a millennia ago or whatever. You recover it with settlers, and when you take that city, you rebuild that city rather than founding a new one, and the city starts with buildings in it. That's only going to happen on the Plane of Fire, and so it helps drag you in, and it makes the game more immersive. And that was it's mainly due to community feedback. So,
oof. Okay. So looks like, guys, if you're following the tactical battle here, where my town is under siege, actually looks like we're doing pretty good. I backed up and got some time to summon some zombies in. And so the fate's uncertain, shall we say.
There was. Yeah, you did well with the summoning.
I got a bad crit there. Oh, no. One of the interesting things you can do that I really love that you guys added to the game is something that existed in MOM to a degree, which is overcharging your combat spells, which is very, very cool.
Yes.
Now, here's an interesting question. Does a water mage, Dustin asks, which, by the way, Dustin, now that I know it's you, your name makes a little more sense. Does a water mage have an advantage on the fire plane? Some kind of elemental balance based on that?
Yes. That is the short answer. The short answer is yes.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is why. It's... All right, you're a sorcerer lord, and you kind of transcend the limitations of the elemental planes. You can bring your magic into play wherever you want, to a certain extent. I'll build on that statement in a minute. But what's going to happen is you're going to, when you're exploring the Plane of Fire, you're going to run into guardians that are fire-based guardians.
Yeah.
So when you hit them with cold spells, they're going to be vulnerable to that. They're going to take extra damage.
Sure.
And so, yes, you will. Now, the counterpoint to that is, if you're playing a water... Sorry, good win, by the way.
Thank you. I'm pretty happy about it, actually.
Yes. Well done. You impressed me. If you're playing water mage, your summonings are going to be a little bit weaker on the fire plane because, you run into an Ifrit, man. He doesn't just beat you in the face. He's got fire spells that he can cast. He does fire damage with every hit he does. So you summon a water elemental, just like you summon those zombies for a kind of an emergency bailout. You got this water mage that you're playing, and you go to summon a water elemental. Well, now he's vulnerable. Yes, everything on the board is vulnerable to his attacks, but he's vulnerable to everything on the board's attacks. And so there's, it's you've got an advantage. It's not overwhelming. If you work it right, it can be a very good thing.
Okay, but very cool. I love to see a good elemental system. I think it adds a layer of tactics to the game. And Threethan, which I think that's Ethan, my buddy Ethan, asks, how many towns can you have at one time? Is there an upper level? And really, towns and units, because I know unit caps are a thing as well. Oh, the revolt ended. Sweet.
We don't, yes. That's excellent. It didn't last 20 turns for you. It was a long time. I wasn't counting. It was a long... Mine was like literally 20 turns today. I was about ready to pull my hair out. It was crazy. I began to wonder if it was stuck. Anyway, we don't have any caps. There are no false caps. You can just keep building towns. Now, that having been said, there are no hard caps.
There are things to discourage you, on the other hand.
Yes, there are, and those are not in place yet. However,
Okay.
And it depends on the race. Okay, for instance, the Unhallowed, they're very, very different from the other races. If the Unhallowed is the only race that if you start with it, that's all you've got. You started with orcs. You can have 6 other races with your orcs. You start as the Unhallowed, that's what you got. You got the undead, that's it. But they don't suffer from unrest. One of the things that limits the size, or is going to limit the size of your empire, is the larger it gets, the idea is that it's harder to control, and you will sort of have this unrest creep that you're dealing with. Now, a way to counter that is your fame, which we haven't really touched on.
Okay. Yeah, if you could tell us a bit about that system, that'd be great.
Sure. And there again, this is a mom throwback, a mom classic. And if you look at the mirror real quick, you can show everybody that you probably have no fame. I haven't seen you gain any fame yet. But
where is the mirror?
It is, if you click the info button, there's a delay between what you're looking at.
Got it. Okay.
I'm looking. Okay, yeah. And your fame's probably 0. I can't see it yet.
Yep,
but,
it's 0.
Okay. When you overcome a great odds in battle or take a world feature that's particularly difficult to get, you're going to get more fame. We're going to add more to it than that. We're just kind of good empire management, keeping your citizens happy as a general rule. There's going to be a lot that adds to your fame. The higher your fame gets, it lessens the unrest. So what happens is as you're adding cities to your empire, you're gaining unrest. As you're getting more fame, you're lowering unrest, and that's a counterbalance. So you can't just flood the world with settlers, but look, if you want to play a game out where there's a town on every townable square, dude, it's your game. That's your business. And that really is the way we look at it. You can, after you beat the game, you can continue playing. I don't understand that myself personally.
Yeah,
I'm not talking hurt to anybody, but I mean, we've got players that will beat the game. They've beat all their enemies, and they want to go and clear out every last world feature. They want to find out what random loot was throughout the world. And
that's pretty cool.
That's great.
I get that.
If you want to do that, that's fine, and we let you do that. And so these are we discourage expanding your empire beyond your ability to handle it. And so, but in the long run, you play a real long game, you can get a crazy number of cities. If you want to show them the cities, the cities screen,
sure,
that might be interesting to them, just to see the kind of we've got one of the things we're doing to remove the sort of late game tedium is we're adding a number of tools, or have added a number of tools that make empire management a lot simpler. And whether or not it makes it in the base game, or the initial release, I should say, it will be considered part of the base game. We're wanting to add like some city growth AIs, where you can found a city and hand it off to an AI to queue up your production.
Oh, very cool.
So that you don't really have to micromanage it. That was something that was asked about early on, and we haven't managed to fit it in yet. The AI system is kind of due for a major overhaul anyway, or I shouldn't say a major overhaul. We're doing a major analysis of the AI to decide what we need to do with it to prep it up for final release, or the initial final release.
Okay.
And so that city management AI will probably make it in somewhere in there, but it may not make it by Q1. So
now here's
the governor option.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. I was actually reading the chat one.
No worries. So the other question from the question mega post that Megan is very nice to keep for me. Thank you. Can you take over other towns? And I know the answer is yes. If neutrals had beaten you, actually, that's a great question. If the neutral faction had beaten me, would there be another neutral town? Is that how that works?
Yes, that's exactly how that works.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely. And right now, what you're seeing is the neutral factions are actually much more dangerous than the other sorcerer lords right now. That is very shortly going to change, and the neutrals, they're there and they can cause you problems, and there's something to be aware of. But the real danger is going to come from the other sorcerer lords, and they will be founding their own towns. They will be taking over neutral cities. They will be trying to take over your cities, and there's going to be a real dynamic there. Not that neutrals will occasionally take over a city and make a new neutral city,
Gotcha.
But there's going to be a lot more to worry about from other sorcerer lords. And then there are things like Titans, which may just show up and start destroying cities. They don't take them; they just destroy them. They'll move to the closest one, and they'll just kill anything that's alive. Actually, they're very neutral in that regard. They'll kill anything, but they're not in the game yet.
So real quick, just as a question, is everybody having an issue with the music? Because I can lower the sound again, but it's not louder on my end. So if we could get everybody to chime in if the music's okay and things like that.
Yep.
So in the meantime, I'm actually going to try again. I lost all my units trying to take a town once, and so I'm going to try that again. And in the meantime, some neutrals are going to sneak up on Taumata, which is much easier to say, by the way.
Yeah. You could change the names. You could change one of the names there and show them that the names are in fact changed.
Oh, very cool. Let's see. Is that in the city screen?
Yeah, just open the city screen and actually click up where the name is, and you'll be able to put whatever you want
there we go.
Believe it or not, it's actually neat for me to watch you play. I haven't gotten around to where I've been testing the summoning build yet. And it's just cool to see you use it. I mean, not that I didn't know what all you could do in theory, but I've got to get in and test like one thing at a time. So here's just haven't gotten to summoning yet. So
here's a question. I accidentally went into top-down mode. How do I get out of that?
Press V.
Oh, okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. No
Sorry, I hadn't run into that before.
Quite all right. You had pulled up the map there too. Let people see the map. The map's new, and I really like the map. The top-down view is okay, but I like the way the map looks.
Ooh, it's very, very pretty. Check that out.
Yes, very stylized.
Very nice.
And it's funny because I'm the only member of the team that's actually in the U.S. Everybody else is in Poland.
So it looks like sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem.
It looks like as you hover over various terrain features, they change.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
It is. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was just about to say, with them being in Poland and me being in the United States, this is one of the things. I knew we were going to have a map, that it was on the board or whatever. Okay. They snuck the map in on me last week. I didn't know about it till I saw somebody else. Somebody posted a YouTube video of an early access playthrough, and he pulled up the map, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" They put the map in there without even letting me know. And that's, we've got a large, for an independent company, we've got a large development team. There's actually a 14-man team in Poland working, and so they don't. Each one's working on what they're working on, and it doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily go through and say, okay, we've added this. In general, they do. Gotcha. But sometimes things fall through the cracks where it was just, it hasn't been mentioned to me.
Uh-oh.
And so it was neat. I got to be like anybody else, go, wow, the map works. And so I asked them about the changing icons. I feel certain that was done by design just to make it look cool. I also want a little more information on the map than we've got right now. And I think, we'll have
So my capital city is under attack again. I'm sure you have lag. And this time, I don't know if I can summon enough zombies to save it. So we may get to see another faction here in a moment.
Yeah. Yes, with the amount of time you were willing to dedicate to the play tonight, I anticipated a game restart. I really did. The AI can get kind of nasty right now. We've got to tweak that as well. Well, and part of it is we haven't worked in the difficulty levels yet. You know what I mean? And so it's you've got this is going to challenge some people and totally destroy others. And it's either way. When we start adding difficulty levels, you won't have to worry about getting trounced. But a lot of people, if they get out far enough, near turn 200, the waves of werewolves show up and just kind of beat them to death
Yeah,
over a matter of
one.
a few and that's werewolves are one of the things. Well, actually, I think that the werewolves are fine in and of themselves. They've got a very high damage production, which they should have. I mean, it makes them interesting units. But we've got to get the Alchemist Guild